of Bahrain, evening time. Dusk begins to fall as we open up, as always, the track map and timing data for our drivers. 15 corners make up the Bahrain International Circuit as it stands. A 1 kilometre front straightaway allows the cars to accelerate up to their top speed, 320 plus kilometres an hour, 200 to 110 miles an hour occasionally, before the hard braking zone into turn 1. As we will, in fact, right on board, we will follow the Dutchie through this opening outlap so that we can see this glorious track designed by Herman Tilke in all its glory. There is turn 1, hard on the brakes from 200 miles an hour. Turn 2 exists a little bit more than turn 3. Turn 3 really is a flat out little chink of a corner up toward turn 4. All the time you've got to leave the space on this straight here, as then you turn into the slightly off cambered turn 4 on the apex. Turn 5, 6 and 7 come at you incredibly quickly. This downhill little slalom, such a fun section. You really see how hard the cars have to work. Then in toward turn 8, quite a famous one for some early accidents mid-race. Drivers getting a little too eager, and then down towards turn 9 and 10, the ever-tightening double left, where we saw fantastically Fernando Alonso take on Lewis Hamilton in 2023. Aston Martin versus Mercedes, and it was Alonso in the Aston that won that day for P3. As the Dutchie now makes its way up toward turn 12, almost the exact opposite here, turn 12 of turn 9 and 10, a widening left-hand double apex corner toward, sorry, that was turn 11, toward turn 12, a flat out right. Turn 13, all about the apex is 13, because it sets you up for the blast down toward the final true corner of turn 14. Hard on the brakes, again, all about the exit, because it sets you up for the little chink that no one cares about, turn 15, and then straight down the pit straight. The Dutchie, though, heading back to the pits, so it's going to be Moomin Rider, our first car to start a flying lap, and here away we go here for the Moomin Rider on a set of medium compound tyres up towards that turn 1 hairpin corner. Hard onto the brakes. Through goes the McLaren car. And then up toward turn number 4. That was Cam McKenzie just joining our timing stack there in the second of the two Mercedes. As Welsh Sponge saying, predicting it is redemption day, redemption night for the first of the Mercedes cars. Apparently something happened last night that I missed, that Welsh Sponge is looking to overcome. Moomin Rider now through turns 9 and 10 as the first salvo of cars start their flying laps. There in the background you see the Red Bull of Phoenix Grey, the championship leader, making his way down the Formula 4 pit straight. Meanwhile, Moomin Rider up to the middle sector split, 107.3 for the McLaren car. We will compare that, of course, to the, I want to say, RB. No, it's not. It's the Williams of Taz Manager, 107.3. 107.4 for Taz Manager in the Williams. So looking quite good there at the moment is Taz Manager. Moomin Rider to the line, 129.6, of course, done on a set of medium tyres. Meanwhile, Phoenix Grey here starting a flying lap also on a set of those yellow walled medium tyres. Taz Manager now out of the final corner, looked pretty good in the middle sector split. To the line for Taz, gets up a 29.9, just a couple of tenths off the McLaren as it stands at the moment. Now Crytek invalidated his lap, returning to the pits. Crytek will not set a representative lap time, no. However, Daddy Cool could set a lap time here in the Alpine. Opens up the DRS now, comes to the line now, 130.3 for Daddy Cool. Slots into P3 for the moment. Autron to the line, goes purple straight away, only to be beaten by Welsh Sponge by half a second. 29.1 versus a 29.630, which was just under 700ths of a second faster than this man here, Moomin Rider. Ed Veer, meanwhile, on the way up to the line in the Kick Sauber, 134.5, so second warm-up lap taken there. Shane Boland starts a flying lap now. And the Dutchie back round the final corner. This time will start a flying lap. Meanwhile, the championship leader, 107.0 through the middle sector. Purple of anyone. What can Phoenix Grey do? The Flying Scotsman. As the next plethora of cars carry on their flying laps. Ginaudi exits the pit lane in the second of the two Aston Martin cars. Phoenix Grey, meanwhile, to the line, goes to provisional pole. 128.9, 2/10 clear of everyone as it stands at the moment. Meanwhile, who is on a flying lap behind? Jonathan Corin, JK, is on a flying lap in the Aston Martin, also going for a set of the medium compound tyres. Everyone looking to try and save a set of the softs for later in the session. JK 107.5 through the middle sector. Meanwhile, excuse me, I am incredibly yawny at the moment, I apologise. Shane Boland up to the middle sector split as well. 107 to look to be the good times. 111 there for Shane Boland is not the direction he wanted that lap to go in at the moment. So where can JK go? JK completed his lap at 29.988, sees himself in P6 for the moment, but JK, we know that was set on a set of mediums. Meanwhile, Shane Boland to the line. We reckon that is for a second flying lap. Ed Veer set a 1 minute 30.6 on his second attempt at a flying lap, so much more representative, but some more time to be found in the Kick-Sauber. The Dutchie 130.9 there in the Williams on a set of medium compound tyres. We've got Krytek, Adams and Ginaudi all out on outlaps, and I say that, and Ginaudi starts a flying lap now in the Aston Martin. Meanwhile, Phoenix Grey, there he is on the return to the pits. Moomin Rider still out on track, still improving, and Moomin Rider goes up to the front row of the grid, 129.0. Just 600ths of a second, 66 thousandths of a second in fact, behind Phoenix Grey as it stands for the moment. Meanwhile, his teammate Adams, so often been the car challenging the Red Bull's domination, starts his flying lap on a set of softs. Through goes the McLaren car. Meanwhile, Krytek, the car behind, going into turn one. There's a little bit of traffic down there. That was the Haas going straight on, I believe, of Smalley, because Shane Boland is coming around turn 13. Now the downhill plunge toward 14 and 15 and finding 4 seconds here. So Shane Boland looking to set his true first representative lap time of the day. Rounds the final corner now. And to the line for Shane Boland. It's a 129.0. Shane Boland puts in a storming lap there up to P3 in the Haas car. Is that the true pace, or is that just the car, or is that the track rubbering in, or is that the true pace of that car today? That is going to put the cat amongst the pigeons for sure. Meanwhile, Ginaudi rounds turn 14. Tail light flashing away. Means he's running out of the battery, the ERS deployment. Ginaudi 32.1. Slowest yet of anyone so far, but we've seen a number of drivers go for multiple warm-up laps. Shane Boland being one of them. Krytek on a push lap. Adams also on a push lap a little bit up the road. Cam Mackenzie's out on track on an out lap. So too is Smalley. Tasmanja has just started a flying lap. Phoenix Grey's back out on track. No sign of beaten yet. Adams to the top, goes 6/10 clear of Phoenix Grey. That was set on a set of softs though. Phoenix on a set of mediums set that 28.9. Meanwhile, Smalley starting his flying lap now. So too Cam Mackenzie. Those two very close to each other on track. Who else is on a flying lap? Shane Boland on that in lap. Krytek set a 29.5 that sees him up there in P6 at the moment. Tasmanager on a push lap, but not going any faster than his previous personal best. Ed Veer on the push lap has found just under 0.3 of a second. This too kind of boosts him up the order somewhat. Beaten now out on track, so too Cinders. So the last 4 cars yet set a representative lap time are all out on track. Ed Veer improves to a 1 minute 30.178, gets himself to P10. A reminder on how this qualifying format works. We're looking currently for the slowest 2 drivers, which are currently Cinders and Cam Mackenzie, because they are yet to set a lap time. The slowest two get eliminated. They take no further part in the session, in the qualifying run. That takes us to 15, where we will progress to qualifying 2, where everyone has 15 minutes. And we look for the 5 slowest drivers, of which they then get eliminated, to leave us with 10 and a 12-minute shootout to see truly who is the fastest over one lap. And Smalley looks to put his bid to that title as he comes to the line now. Smalley will set a 1 minute 31.227. Cam Mackenzie, the car behind, dives to pit lane, does not want to complete the lap. Beaton has left the session. Cinders is on an out lap. Krytek is starting a new lap. Meanwhile, Phoenix Grey did not improve through the first sector, has some traffic up the road of both Aston Martins. Chinaudi not on a push lap, JK on an out lap. Edveer returning to the pits. The Dutchie rounds the final corner to start a flying lap, looking to improve on that P13 spot. As Cinders just said starting a flying lap is just coming up to the first sector split. Let's have a look to see. Cinders sets a 28.7 through the first sector as JK crosses the line, starting a new flying run to improve on P10. Phoenix Grey returns to the pits in the background. Ortron starts a new flying lap in the meantime, as Krytek not improving in the first sector. Who's on a lap at the moment? The Dutchie has found a second through the first sector, so massive time being found here by the Williams. The Smalley is not finding time, but this is, I presume, a second charge lap or an in lap after that 131. Cinders, meanwhile, only a couple of corners, a few hundred metres behind the Haas of Smalley in front, coming into the last couple of corners now. Welsh Sponge back out on track, looking for an out lap, or looking for a hot lap to get himself up in front and away of P5. Cinders to the line, does a 29.4 and bumps Krytek down to P7. Cam Mackenzie back out on track. No sign yet of Beaton whether he will be able to rejoin the session. Meanwhile, let's have a look in the YouTube stream. How is everyone doing over here on YouTube? Do say hello if you are so able. If you are not a driver, that is Ortron. Crosses the line there. Did not look to improve on his previous personal best, or whether that was to start a flying lap. JK though does improve by 0.6 of a second up to P6, a 29.3 there for the Aston Martin driver. The car behind is Welsh Sponge in the Mercedes, looking to improve on that 29.1. Just over 4.5 minutes left in the session. Adams retires. He thinks he's safe on that 28.3. Cam Mackenzie around the final corner now. Still yet to set a representative lap time here is Cam, who's on laps at the moment. The Dutchie might be on a lap here. Tasmanja on an out lap. Ortron don't have a timing split for. Cinders on his way back to the pits. Beaton able to rejoin. He's got 4 minutes here. Does the Red Bull driver, does the championship contender have to get a flying lap in to see him, just to see him out of Q2? The Dutchie is not improving. Danny Cool and Smalley are both out on track. Here comes a Red Bull, and it's not the Red Bull of Beaton, it's the Red Bull of Phoenix Grey that is joining us out on track. And it is the Alpine of Daddy Cool that starts a flying lap now. The Ferrari of Ortron is behind. Ortron returning to the pits very slowly, it has to be said. To the line now though comes Welsh Sponge to improve on the 29.1 to go to provisional first. 28.246 for Welsh Sponge. That puts him comfortably safe, one would imagine. Tasmanager starts a flying lap now. What can Cam Mackenzie do behind? 3 minutes left on the clock, so this is not over yet, folks. Cam Mackenzie on his run downhill needs a good lap here, but does have time for a recharge and one more run. One more lap, that is. Doesn't have time to get back to the pits and back out again. Cam Mackenzie, 29.9, gets himself up to P12. Is that going to be safe? That feels just a little bit too tight still for the Mercedes driver. Meanwhile, Beaton is now out on track on an outlap. The next car to cross the start-finish line will be Phoenix Gray, who's bolted on a set of softs to that Red Bull. The car he's got behind him is Daddy Cool in the Alpine, who's found a second in the middle sector. Daddy Cool to try and get himself into the sharp end of the top 10 for Alpine. That would be a hell of a result as he rounds the final corner now. Daddy Cool to the line. Does get a 129.2 in, a 1.1 second improvement. The track's rubbering in here, folks. Now, who does that mean is on the danger zone? Edve and Smalley are the two slowest drivers yet so far. Smalley's on a lap. Beaton, though, still yet to set a lap time. Need I remind you who else on a lap at the moment? Taz Manager on the run to the line. Looks like that has not improved. Only 47 thousandths of a second off his previous personal best. Beaton starts his flying lap now. Cam Mackenzie still out on track. There he is, Cam Mackenzie rounding the final corner. Returning to pit lane. Cam Mackenzie will not have time to go again, so the Mercedes car could be in real trouble here. Smalley, meanwhile, to the line to improve on the 31.2 to put those in front under pressure. Does. Drops Cam Mackenzie down another spot. Smalley got in a P11 worthy time. Beaton's on a lap. Edve and the Dutchie are on outlaps. Beaton, what's your lap looking like, fella? Can you improve? Minute left now on the clock. Everyone on track. In front, realistically, of Beaton will improve. Phoenix Gray is the first car into the 127s. 127.9. Edve starts a flying lap. Ortron about to start a flying lap. Beaton, we still follow as he comes into turn 11 now. Using the track width. All of the track width for turn 12 help to try and flatten off that corner. Beaton 106.8. This is looking good for the Red Bull car. Just needs to dial the last corner together now. One more braking zone, one more corner rotation, as I still don't count turn 15. Beaton rounds the final corner now. Those tyres will be screaming for help. This to get two Red Bulls into the top 4 gets him through. 28.8. The checkered flag falls now, so who's on a lap? The first car on a lap is not Smalley. Smalley's finished his lap. The first car is the Dutchie, who's found half a second through the middle sector. This is what he needs to do. This is to put Cam Mackenzie into the drop zone, to eliminate Cam at the first hurdle. The Dutchie into turn 14 now. Mild lockup indicated there by the game. Rounds the final corner, guns it, opens the DRS to the line. The Dutchie gets himself to P7, 29.1. Cam Mackenzie is out of qualifying. That is a certainty now. Edve, can he drop Cam Mackenzie to the back? Can he drop Taz Manager into the drop zone? Edve needs a good final run now. Opens up the letterbox to the line. Edve, P13, will get through to Quali 2. That means the two we lose are Taz Manager and Cam Mackenzie. Chinaudi will finish his lap for Pride. It's looking like a very good lap here for the Aston Martin, it has to be said. Rounds the final corner and to the line. Cam Mackenzie, 28.7, goes up to P4. Moomin Rider is returning to the pits. Beaton is then the last car yet to see the line or the flag. And Beaton takes a flag now. There we go. Dramatic end. Cam Mackenzie, who's looked so good at qualifying for quite a few races through the season, out at the first port of call. I'd love to be able to... Cam, I know you usually watch the stream. Cam, I'd love to be able to turn over to you right about now and find out what you're thinking. What... Just unable to... Just not wanting to put enough fuel in for 2 runs. There you see the final standings. Just look at this, so many cars in the 129s. Moomin Rider all the way down, and for everyone from Moomin Rider back. So the last 11 cars were all inside 1 second of each other. Cam McKenzie reporting an issue on his own stream. And Sponge calling it already in the Twitch chat, absolutely saying that he reckons it's going to be a close one tonight. I would have to agree with you, Sponge. As we go now to Quali 2, 15 minutes on the clock, a green flag down at the far end of the pit lane. And away we go. But first there is the pause and the break, but Welsh Sponge in the Mercedes garage right in front of us, the only Mercedes left. That is such a kind of weird and alien thing to say. Is the first car out into the fast lane. The two Red Bulls though, or the Red Bull of Phoenix Grey, looking busy. Cam McKenzie was literally nothing I could do there. Well, what was the issue, Cam? Where did it all go wrong for you? I would love to know. I can't watch the... Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge out on track was followed out by the Dutchy and the Red Bull of Phoenix Grey, and then here they come, all rolling down pit lane. The McLarens of Moomin Rider, the RB of Crytek, and the Williams of the Dutchy, Smalley, Ortron, Daddy Cool, Edveer, and Shane Boland all out on track at the moment. That just leaves 5 cars still in the pits. Meanwhile, it's going to be Welsh Sponge in the lone Mercedes. There is Adams, one more out onto track, so that leaves us with just 4 in the pits. And there, making a special appearance, is Bert Mylander in the Mercedes AMG safety car. Of course, that is just a visual glitch for us. The drivers cannot see it, as that would be entirely distracting. As away we go now. Welsh Sponge starting a flying lap in the Mercedes. Everyone out on track is on a set of the soft compound red wool tyres. Welsh Sponge up to the far end of the track, through to the first sector split for a 28.6. The Dutchy 28.9. First 2 cars there separated by 0.3 to Welsh Sponge's favour as he makes his way out of turn 8 up towards turn 9 and 10. Bamboo Sheet in the Twitch chat asking a fantastic question. Will there be Red Bull team orders today? Will they be working together, or will they be going tooth and nail for their own championship pride? Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge up to the middle sector split for a 106.9. We have the Dutchy 107.4. Phoenix Grey doesn't give us a time split. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge now into the final corner. Welsh Sponge using all of that horsepower in the Mercedes to the line. 128.8 straight into the 128. Phoenix Grey will follow the Dutchy to the line, picking up a slipstream, goes to a 28.3, half a second faster. Interestingly, 0.4 slower than his Q1 time. I wonder if those were the Scrubs softs and not the sticker reds of a new set. Moomin Rider 28.499 goes to P2. Smalley 29.6, Edveer 29.4 going faster. Danny Cool 29.3, slots in to P4, so good battle there. Daddy Cool, Dutchy, Edvir and Smalley separated by very little. Krytek as well joins the party, 7,000ths of a second behind Smalley on a 29.694. Shane Boland to the line, 1:44.5, so that will be for a second flying run there in that particular Haas. Beaton out on track, JK out on track, 3 just left in the pits now, and we've already seen Ortron out on track in Quali 2 at the moment as Beaton starts a flying lap. So too JK. Meanwhile, Adams behind. To the line, Adams for the McLaren team, 28.5. It's 1 Red Bull, 2 McLarens in the top 3. This is looking a little bit realistic for the 2024 season. Meanwhile, who's on laps? Beaton's on a lap. Beaton to the first sector split, 28.7. JK to the first sector split, 28.4. Looking 3/10 faster than the Red Bull at the moment is the number 39, Aston Martin. Meanwhile, we're looking for another flying lap from Shane Boland as well. Here's the car in front of Beaton and JK. Shane to the middle sector split. This will give us an indication whether this is a push lap or a second recharge. I think it's a second recharge. Beaton meanwhile up to turn 12. Not quite on the racing line, a little bit wide on turn in, 107.1. You can see just how that's costed him a little. JK going purple through the middle sector, looking a little bit faster to my eye than the Red Bull at the moment as he now dives downhill. Shane Boland returned to the pits. Beaton up to the line now in the Red Bull. 29.2 done on a set of mediums, key 0.2. Remember, JK 28.396, 12,000ths of a second slower than Phoenix Grey. Goes up to P2. Boom. Adams returns to the pits with some dramatic fashion. Ortron is on an outlap. So too is Ginaudi. Cinders still in the pits at the moment. Ortron starting a flying lap. Cinders getting released into the fast lane to go out onto track. Smalley is out on track at the moment, but not improving on his previous best. Beaten after that lap, so too is JK. Not looking particularly fast. Smalley on the run to the line to start a new lap potentially, as he had backed out of sector 3. Meanwhile, the only car so far on a flying lap is Ortron, as Smalley is, actually I say that, Smalley is just on his way up to the first sector split to see what this extra lap will do for his run. Smalley not improving, 1/10.5 slower to his previous personal best. As JK heads to the pits, Ginaudi starts a flying lap. Ortron looking to set his first flying lap of the session. 6 minutes 50 left on the clock. I was about to say 6.5 minutes, but of course that would be wrong. Edvir is out on track for another outlap. Reminder, we're looking for the slowest 5, which right now include Krytek, Shane Boland, which right now include Smalley, Krytek, Shane Boland, Cinders and Ginaudi, as Ortron set a 1:29.638 that gets him to P10. Cinders rounds the final corner now to start a flying lap. We know that Smalley is not improving still, so Smalley I think has abandoned this flying run altogether. Shane Boland though looking to get a clean run together. Yet Cinders starting a flying lap. As I mentioned, Ginaudi looking to set his first flying lap time as well. Krytek on an outlap. Who else is on an outlap? Edvir is on an outlap. So too is Beaton in the Red Bull, just joined us out on track. As there we go, Shane Boland across the start-finish line to set his first representative time of the day, or of this particular session. Chinaldi, meanwhile, to the line in the Aston Martin, 128.7. That makes it 1 Red Bull, 2 McLarens, 2 Aston Martins in the top 5 for the moment. Meanwhile, Ortron has invalidated this flying lap and so cannot improve. Shane Boland finding plenty of time after that 144. Cinders, meanwhile, might be picking up a little bit of dirty air from Crytek in front. However, that will turn into a slipstream down the last couple of straights. Welsh Sponge beating Crytek, the 3 cars on outlaps at the moment. Under 5 minutes left now on the clock as Cinders rounds the final corner. There is his RB teammate of Crytek. Cinders to the line, 129.1, goes up to P7, drops beaten down another space. Edveer to improve on the 29.4 has found 0.4 of a second through the first sector. Who else is on a flying lap? Shane Boland and Crytek. Shane Boland around the final corner now. Crytek finds 0.2 of a second through the first sector. Shane Boland finds a 128.6 in that Haas, goes up to P5, drops Chinaldi down to 7th. Edveer still looking good, 6.5 improvement on his previous personal best. This to get him into the 128s for Edveer. And it looks like that's where you have to be, in the low 29s, the high 28s. Edveer in the kick Sauber to the line, however, 128.7 goes to P7, just a few hundredths of a second behind Chinaldi. Welsh Sponge on the outlap now to start a flying lap. Crytek has found 0.4 of a second through the middle sector, needs a good final sector here to find the same gains that those in front have found. Crytek to the line. This would drop beaten into the drop zone for the moment. Can't quite do it. Crytek though to P11 as it stands. Currently there is no one. I was about to say there's no one on a push lap. I say that, beaten to the line goes purple. The second car into the 127s, and wouldn't you guess it's one of the Red Bulls. 27.908. Phoenix Grey out on track though on what looks to be a set of sticker reds, brand new soft compound tyres. Two minutes 40 left on the clock. Welsh Sponge currently on a push lap, heads up to the middle sector split. This will be interesting to see how much time Welsh Sponge has found. He's found 0.6 of a second through the middle sector. This is going to be an incredible lap time. This is going to be an incredible weekend by the looks of it. The times are coming in and coming in and coming in and getting lower. All the while, Dutchy, Ortron, Smalley, Daddy Cool, the bottom 4 all on outlaps at the moment. Welsh Sponge to get himself further up to safety, 28.0, goes up to P2. Phoenix Grey starts flying lap, looking to reclaim a spot on the front row. Both McLarens out on track on outlaps. Crytek on a slow lap at the moment, might do well to get one more lap in here to try and improve on that 29.2. Smalley has now started a flying lap and has gone through turn 4 to the first sector split. Smalley loses 0.8 of a second to his previous personal best. Crytek goes for one more flying lap. Meanwhile, Phoenix Grey in the battle to see who can go fastest, takes a 10th out of his previous personal best. JK, Moomin Rider, Adams all on outlaps. Chinaldi on an outlap too. Cinders on an outlap. Ortron starting a flying lap. Smalley coming to the end of the middle sector on what will be his last flying lap in Quali 2. Finds just about a 10.5. Smalley needs to find another. Realistically, it's about half a second he needs to find here for Smalley to have a crack at getting through to Quali 3. Beaton retires from the session. He's safe in P1. I reckon that's a safe bet there. Smalley to the line to improve by only 85 thousandths of a second. Smalley gets in front of Autron. Phoenix Grey, the first car into the 27.8s, takes back that top spot. Smalley is most likely out of qualifying at this stage unless he's got the battery to go again. Krytek is improving on this extra lap that he's put in at the end of the session. Rounds the final corner now. 15 seconds left on the clock, so Autron will be the first car to take the flag. Krytek improves but knocks Cinders out to P11, but Cinders is on a lap, so Autron will be the first car to take the flag as it falls now. Welsh Sponge retires from the session. He reckons he is safe as well, and he has to be. Autron to the line in the Ferrari, improves by just about 7/10 of a second, drops Krytek back into the drop 5. Adams improves to P4. Who's next around the final corner? It is the Williams of the Duchy up to the line for the Duchy, improves to a 28.9, gets up to P11 only, however. So Krytek is out. Cinders, what can you do? Danny Cool and Smalley's out. He doesn't have the battery left, so it's just to Danny Cool and Cinders, and it's Danny Cool to the line. Improves to P8, that drops Autron out. Now the next car is Cinders that could drop another car out. It would be Edveer, but Cinders has invalidated himself at the end. So there we go, that brings an end to qualifying 2. Ginaldi is on a lap. I don't think he realises that he is safe. Phoenix Grey takes the bragging rights into Quali 3 from beaten Welsh Sponge. JK put in a P4 lap time. Adams, Moomin Rider 5-6. I say that and they get split by Ginaldi for P6. So Moomin Rider P7, Shane Boland P8, Danny Cool P9, Edveer P10. The 5 we lose are Autron, the Duchy, Krytek, Cinders and Smalley. And that does, bring to an end a very dramatic Quali 2. Random Polish dude in the Twitch chat asking how to join. What I can do, Random Polish dude, is, even if you just want to come in and spectate, I think I can share a link to Discord. So yes, this is the thing, you need Discord. But there you are. That should be the link into the Discord server. There we go, though. The classifications of this evening's qualifying 2 runs. Phoenix Grey beaten the 2 Red Bulls. Welsh Sponge, JK, Adams, Ginaldi, Moomin Rider, Shane Boland, Daddy Cool, Edveer, the 10 to make it through to the pole position shootout. Autron, the Duchy, Krytek, Cinders and Smalley, the 5 we lose. But look at how close some of these gaps are, folks. This is going to be one fantastic quali session. Hopefully one fantastic race as well. So please don't go anywhere. I'm definitely not. In the meanwhile, the clock starts ticking for Quali 3. There's a green light. In the meanwhile, I don't know if he's watching, but I believe, as I understand it, a little bit of sad news I'm afraid to give you is that Nathan, the Monday night streamer for this fantastic and glorious league, is having to step away a little bit. I'm not sure if this is a kind of a fully permanent thing, or whether this is just for a little while, but for now, yes, Nathan has to step away from the podium division. What that means, I'm not entirely sure yet. I need to have a word with the league admins and find out what the plan is. Meanwhile, there's action, there's cars out on track, and that includes Phoenix Grey, the championship leader, has of Shane Boland, the Aston of Ginaudi. There's movement at McLaren. And Red Bull, in fact, I think we might be seeing, folks, all 10 cars heading out onto track at roughly the same time. Go on. Can we see all 10 cars as Beaton is released into the fast lane? Nothing yet from Adams. Ed Veer is out into the fast lane. Come on, Ginaudi. Come on, Adams. Give us all 10 on track on an outlap at the same time. You've got about half a lap to go before Phoenix Gray makes his way back to the pits. Back to the start-finish straight. I don't know if you're watching. Come on. There we go. There is Adams heading out into the fast lane. So it's just Ginaudi we need. And there we go, Ginaudi heads out into the fast lane. Will he beat out Phoenix Gray? This is just for a little bit of silliness, to be honest, for my end. But will we have all 10 cars, the full salvo, out before Phoenix Gray takes the line? Takes the line now. Yes, we do indeed. All 10 cars are out on an outlap, or out on track. And Phoenix Gray in the dark blue Red Bull heads into the first corner. We'll be riding on board with Phoenix Gray. In fact, I'm going to be quiet and let you listen to the Flying Scotsman at work. And there we go, about 2/3 of the lap completed. Phoenix Gray with one corner to go. 2/3 of the lap ride along. Phoenix Gray to the line. You saw the timing screen in the top right. Phoenix Gray into the 1:27.7. It's the first car to do it today. Takes the provisional pole time, the only car to set a lap time. Shane Boland 28.7, very respectable lap time. Would have seen him comfortably through Quali 1 and Quali 2. So not a patch, despite being a full second off Phoenix Gray. JK 28.2 goes up to P2. Welsh Sponge 28.3 goes for P3. Moomin Rider, can you complete the set? 28.4 for P4. Yes, he can. 128.4 for P4. Daddy Cool, can you put 28.5 together? No, you can't. Ed Veer, meanwhile, arounds the final corner now in the kick Sauber. Fantastic kick Sauber, looks fantastic under these lights. Ed Veer 28.8 goes P6, beaten to the line now. 28.770, just 52 thousandths of a second behind Phoenix Gray. An insanely small time difference there. Meanwhile, Adams and Ginaudi are out on track on flying laps. Daddy Cool is back in the pits, didn't want to complete his first flying run, start a first flying run. Adams to the line, 27.8 goes up to P3. That drops Shane Boland down to P7 on a 28.7 and Ed Veer to P8 on a 28.8. But that now gives us 3 cars inside or doing 127s. Ginaudi now to the line in the last car to finish the flying run salvo. Goes to P9, 400ths of a second slower than Ed Veer. As it stands, Daddy Cool goes back out into the fast lane looking to set a fully representative lap time, or looking to set a lap time full stop indeed. As the cars have completed their runs, return to the garage. 6 minutes left already in Quali 3. Time really does fly when you're having fun, doesn't it, folks? So we look through, just again, just a reminder, those watching on YouTube, please do say hello. I don't forget about you. The answer to Marcelos Santos on the YouTube chat, how many races left in the season? The answer is 15 including this one, 16 including this one, 15 after this one. This is a 25 race season, of which this is round 10. So plenty more action to come left here in MSC F1 Season 5 in the Clubsport division. I hope that answers your question. Meanwhile, back on the Twitch channel, everything's looking a little bit quiet. As always, please do say hello. It's always fun to see who's watching along. Have the interaction as well. Daddy Cool, meanwhile, into turns 14 and 15 to start a flying lap. His first flying lap of Quali 3. And there are 4 minutes 50 left on the clock. As he makes his way toward turn 1, the Red Bull of Beaton heads back out onto track, looking to find that 52 thousandth of a second to try and take away his teammate's provisional pole spot. Cam McKenzie angling that he reckons that the start from P17 was not necessarily straight away advantageous. May be useful to avoid any carnage and drama down at turn 1. Welsh Sponge predicting that he will find half a second in his last lap of qualifying to set potentially Welsh Sponge looking to find about half a second in his last lap in qualifying to set a 27.8. That would see him right now challenge Adams for P3 on the grid. As we follow Daddy Cool into the last couple of corners, 3.5 minutes left on the clock. And we've got 6 cars out on track. Daddy Cool sets his lap time. It's a 28.6. It sees him up to P7 as he heads back toward turn 1, and Beaton starts a flying lap in the Red Bull. And we'll follow this one with key interest. This will be a good indication. How is the track behaving? Is it rubbering in at all? Is it getting faster? How are the drivers feeling this late into the qualifying night? And Beaton through the first sector split finds 0.08 of a second. This would be enough as it stands to get him onto provisional pole. We know though his teammate is out on track and is about to start a flying lap. It is just the 2 Aston Martins and the Kick Sauber of Edveer left in their garages as it stands. Beaton around turn 9 and 10, looking to open up the run to turn 11 as much as possible. Close off that last part of turn 11, open up turn 12. That is Edveer and one of the Aston Martins leaving pit lane now, and Beaton runs out too wide out of turn 13. It's so easy to do, it's such a flat curb, but invalidates himself. He has plenty of time left. Does he have the fuel left to go for one more run? No, he heads back to... No, he doesn't. He baited me there into thinking he was going back into the pits. Welsh Sponge starts a flying lap now. Daddy Cool does look like he's going back to his pits. Does look like that's the end of his qualifying session. 1 minute 37 left on the clock, and the next car that will see the start finish line is Adams on an out lap. So the next car to see the start finish line on a flying lap is Phoenix Gray, who's found a 10.5 through the first 2 sectors. This is looking imperious by the current drivers standings leader Phoenix Gray through the final corner now, up to the line when he can open up the DRS. Now Phoenix Grey 127.6 improves by a tenth of a second. Who's the next car on a lap? It's Movement Rider in the McLaren. He's bringing along JK's the car behind. Shane Boland behind that. Ed Veer's in this train as well. There's a full gaggle here coming around the last couple of corners. Movement Rider opens up the DRS now to the line. Movement Rider improves to P4 28.0. Ed Veer starts a flying lap. JK starts a flying lap. Shane Boland goes for one more flying lap as well. Welsh Sponge predicted he'd find half a second to get a 27.8. Let's see how accurate that prediction was as he opens up the DRS to the line. 27.7 goes to P2, does better than his prediction. Meanwhile, the Aston Martin of Chinaldi starts a flying lap. He's got beaten for close company. He's also on a flying lap. He did have the fuel to go. Again, Adams is the last car on track looking to improve. He'll be the first car to see the checkered flag as it flies. Daddy Cool is out of qualifying. The best he'll start is 7th on a 28.6. Adams around the final corner now. Didn't improve through the middle sector. Needs a mighty final sector. Adams to the line. Doesn't improve. The best he can do is P4. The second row of the grid. Phoenix Grey looks to have this one in the bag unless there is a surprise from lower down the order. Ed Veer, middle sector split, looking pretty healthy. JK looking even faster. Shane Boland looking pretty good. The next three cars looking very solid here. These are the next three cars to finish lap times. Ed Veer into the last couple of corners. Phoenix Grey's back in the pits. He's done. Ed Veer to the line. What can the Kicksauber do? Could go to P7. JK next to the line. Can he improve? Yes, he can, but not in position. Shane Boland to the line. Takes back P8 from Daddy Cool. Chinaldi is the last car. Has got beaten for very close company. I'm not sure if either driver is making much headway on their respective times. I haven't seen a sector split. Chinaldi to the line. Improves to P5 28.0. That looks like Beaton is going slowly behind. Beaton was not improving through the middle sector. Does not improve. Ran out of fuel on the way to the line. Welsh Sponge takes the checkered flag to end the session as Movement Rider gets pushed back into the pits. Qualifying closes. Phoenix Grey on pole by over a tenth. Welsh Sponge beaten. The two behind separated by very little. Adams not that far back either in P4. Chinaldi, Movement Rider separated by less than a tenth on row 3. JK will lead Ed Veer onto row 4, and Shane Boland and Daddy Cool round off the grid. But folks, only a second separates the top 10. This is a close field. This is looking very, very good indeed for motorsport fans all round. Looking back just toward the YouTube channel just once more. Yes, Marcelo Santos, 16 more exciting Tuesdays left in front of us. Indeed they are. Still 4 months left of the season. Feels crazy. We've already been going for the best part of 3 months, so plenty of time for any narratives, driver stories to unfold. We've already seen... We saw one very early on. Cam McKenzie, Simon Levac, they always used to be kind of running into each other, tripping over each other during the race. Thankfully, that seems to have, that kind of rivalry has dissipated. As now we wait for race control to give us a scheduled start time. Just waiting. It wouldn't surprise me if kind of the go time is about 5 minutes past the hour, 5 minutes past 9. But just waiting for that confirmation. So Welsh Sponge, back-to-back P2s in qualifying. Can you convert today, my friend? That surely has to be the goal. Try and stop Phoenix Grey running away with another one. Still no confirmation yet as to a go time. Sponge, very quick. Sponge, very quickly. You're a reserve driver, aren't you, in this? So you don't get kind of a championship standing, do you? The same way that kind of everyone else does. So you don't get any kind of a championship points on your tally, because I reckon you must be kind of closing in if you were in that kind of points tally the same way that kind of Ollie Behrman was put in the points tally after his kind of super sub appearance. I reckon you must be kind of getting on for JK and Dino in P5, P6, 100, just over 100 points. So every time I'm here, you rock up and you put in a very, very good result. Meanwhile, still no confirmation yet as to a lights out time. I say that, and potentially there it is. I see it. It's 04, so just under 60 seconds. And the tension begins to build. I think Sponge, just after kind of the races we've seen from you in the Clubsport division, just in response to your last Twitch chat, hopefully next year I will secure myself a seat. I think that looks very, very likely indeed. I'd be amazed if no one wanted to sign you so forward, so quick in qualifying, great all-round race pace, pretty good strategy-wise as well. Pretty much the complete deal, the complete sim racing deal. As the clock ticks down, there we go. It goes past 4 minutes the hour. Just wait for admin. So the league rule, for those of you who don't know, is that the league admins, who are, I believe, Adams, Phoenix Grey and JK, are kind of the big three, set us a go time once qualifying is complete. It's usually kind of 5 or 6 minutes, just to allow everyone to get up, go to the loo, live life, maybe make themselves a cup of tea, something I would do. They set us a go time, and then it is up to them to kind of hit go and start the countdown into the race proper. And just like that, just like magic, away we go for the formation lap. And let's have a look. Let's have a nosy Parker. The strategy's going well straight away on the front 3 rows. Phoenix Grey. In fact, let's do this in reverse order. On the back row, all by himself in P17, Cam McKenzie will start on a set of medium tyres. That is row 8. Row 7, split strategy. Smalley in the Haas wants a set of softs. Taz Manager wants a set of mediums. It's an all RB row 7 with Crytek leading Cinders. Both, however, want a set of medium compound tyres. Row 6, Autron leads the Duchy, and Autron, the only car looking for a set of hard compound tyres, looking to go deep here into the race. The Duchy makes it a set of medium tyres, means that both Williams, just like both RBs, are on the same strategy at the start of the Grand Prix. On row 5, Shane Boland brings in Daddy Cool. Both go for a set of soft compound tyres, and just like the Williams and the RBs, both Haas cars starting on the same strategy. Row 7 we find a split strategy once more. JK leads Edveer. 2 of the 3 Dutch contingent in the top 10. JK set of mediums, Edveer set of softs. So there we see some predicted race strategies. On row 3, Ginaldi leads Moomin Rider, both on a set of mediums. Row 2, Beaton, Adams, both on a set of mediums. Welsh Sponge, Phoenix Grey on the coveted front row of the grid, both on a set of mediums. So the Red Bull, McLaren, Aston Martin, Haas, RB Williams, all those teams have the same strategy split across their drivers. And there you can see, as they line up from the reverse angle, Phoenix Grey pointing his car to the left hand side of that grid box. We know where he wants to go. As we wait now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's go, go, go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it looks like a pretty solid start there from everyone in the field. We wait to see on the run down toward turn 1. Phoenix Grey has the outside line. Welsh Sponge looking up the inside. Gets to stop just about. Might have been a little bit of contact there. Front wing to rear diffuser. And now on the run out toward turn 3. It's Phoenix Grey leading the way from Welsh Sponge. Beaton having to look around the outside. One of the Aston Martins there has made a good start. Let's get the timing screen back up. I don't know where I've put it. There it is, and it is Phoenix Grey from Welsh Sponge. Beaten P3. Adams held on to P4. JK had a good start, jumping Moomin Rider and Ginaldi. Shane Boland and Edveer swapping positions on the run out of turn 8, down towards the tightening turn 9 and 10. And Edveer wins out on that one. Krytek and Cinders both making good starts. Dutchy P12, Cam McKenzie up from last to P13, Ortron P14, Daddy Cool losing ground there to P15, Smalley P16, the last car in the main train, and Taz Manager a little further back. Shane Boland, Edveer's gone round there at turn 11, gets it back underway, but drops a load of position to Moomin Rider. Ginaldi swap position to Moomin Rider, holding on to P6. But as they come down the hill, out of 13th, Welsh Sponge looking to try and shape up a move on Phoenix Grey. Got to do better than that to try and scare the Scotsman offline. And now down the pit straight we go. The sparks fly out in the Middle Eastern desert. Phoenix Grey leads us on to lap 2. Shane Boland getting in front of Ginaldi. Welsh Sponge being forced the long way around on Phoenix Grey. Phoenix and has now the inside line at turn 2. Welsh Sponge has driven that absolutely perfectly. But now it's 2 Red Bulls versus 1 Mercedes. All the time you've got to leave the space, no matter which way you look. Beaton's got in front of Phoenix Grey. Sponge has taken the lead. Phoenix Grey loses 2 positions. Adams and JK are right there on the back of this battle, and Adams now trying to shape up a move on Phoenix Grey. Can't quite get it done. Shane Boland has got in front of Ginaldi. He's up to P6 and is looking racy. JK sends one down the inside at Adams. We cut to the end of that move at turn 8. Great move, opportunistic move there from JK. Up to P4 he goes. Moomin Rider, not a great first lap for McLaren. Fantastic. Oh, I say that and we cut to it. Cam McKenzie and the Dutchy pitting each other out on the inside of, where's that, 10 and 9 and 10. Cam McKenzie gets back underway. Now he's in a Williams sandwich, 3 abreast as they come down to turn 11. Taz Manager will get in front of them both. But Cam McKenzie will not be happy with that. Now he's got to go the long way around turn 12. Dancing around the outside, Cam McKenzie back up to P16. Just has to do it all again. Meanwhile, down at a 15 we go. Sponge leads us onto lap 3. Everyone now behind him has DRS. Shane Boland is the fastest man on track, 32.1. Through goes Beaton on Sponge. Here too comes Phoenix Grey. Will have to go around the outside just like Sponge did to him a lap ago. Shane Boland went very deep there into turn 1. Got it stopped just about Phoenix Grey, just like Sponge did to him a lap ago. Has got the position just about. Now needs to dance around the outside at 4. JK late on the brakes. Just about doesn't go into the back of Adams. This is of Welsh Sponge, I should say. This is going to allow Adams to have a look. Can't quite have a look. Shane Boland has gone deep once more into 4 and has lost out down to P9. Meanwhile, what else is going on? Cam Mackenzie's got in front of Taz Manager as well as the Dutchie and Danny Cool. So he is up to P14. Has Danny Cool pitted? I think Danny Cool might have made a pit stop here. No, he's just made an error somewhere. Danny Cool has dropped back down to P17. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it is pretty much the top 10, all in one long DRS train. It could be said it's a 10-car battle for the lead here at the moment in the Sakiran Desert as they now make the plunge downhill. Welsh Sponge once more trying to have a look into 14 on the back of Phoenix Grey. Just looking like he gets a great run out of 13 time after time. Now onto the main straight we go. Beaton's checked out a little bit. 7/10 clear, but that might not be enough. Down the 1 kilometre front straight. Phoenix Grey is gaining. Here comes Welsh Sponge as well. Onto the brakes into turn 1 we go. No overtakes being made across the top 5. Big lock up there behind as Shane Boland gets in front of Krytek for P8. And Janaudi has dropped out of DRS range quite massively. 2 seconds he is almost behind Adams. And this is going to invite Moomin Rider a look up the inside at turn 4. That might have put Janaudi a little bit offline here as they come down toward 5, 6 and 7. Moomin Rider looking good but not quite able to look for a way past. Edveer on the back of Autron after a disastrous start, looking to make some ground back up. Cam Mackenzie 2.5 off the back of Smalley to do the same after that mistake here a lap or 2 ago. Circling back to the front of the field, Moomin Rider's got in front of Janaudi going into turn 11. Janaudi as the leaders out of 13 once more. Will we see another look from Welsh Sponge? He looks to be getting just so much better drive than Phoenix Grey. There we see it again once more. Yellow flag sector 2. That is a stationary Dutchie on the inside of turn 11. Out of the final corner they come. Beaton is going to be under more pressure than he was this time a lap ago. Phoenix Grey, the aggressor, might have to go defensive here with how close Welsh Sponge is. Looking to the inside is Phoenix Grey on Beaton. Gets the move done from a long way back into turn 1. Janaudi's got back in front of Moomin Rider. That is for P6. Meanwhile, the run out of turn 3. This looks like Phoenix Grey is having to go defensive here from Beaton. Nothing changing now on the run up to 4. It's back to pretty much as we were. Janaudi, Moomin Rider, Shane Boland around the outside at 4. Can he make it stick on the set of softs? Now on the downhill run to 5, 6 and 7. They're still side by side. Be so careful, fellas. Welsh Sponge go in front of Beaton at turn 8. Meanwhile, Shane Boland is going to have to go defensive here from Krytek. Gets it stopped. And those 4 remain as they were. But 2 great battles here happening in the top 10. The battle for the lead and the battle for 6th. As Edveer did indeed get in front and clear of Autron. Cam Mackenzie not gaining as much time as he'd have liked on Smalley, but he is on the medium tyres versus brand new softs. Meanwhile, Phoenix Grey once more in toward turn 13 where the Mercedes behind is looking so strong. Downhill they come. Welsh Sponge looking once more to the inside. This looks like for a move for the lead here. Has he gone too soon though? Because he's going to give up DRS to all 4 cars behind, and they're drag racing each other already by the time they hit the main straight. And here we go now. DRS for everyone but Welsh Sponge. And it's going to be 1 Red Bull making a move. Definitely 2 Red Bulls making a move with 3 wide as we head toward turn 1. JK's getting involved as well from a long way back. Adams too. Phoenix Grey might lose out positions here. Beaton versus Welsh Sponge is the battle for the lead directly at the moment. On the run up toward turn 4, they're 3 abreast behind. Adams though looking like he's going to sit this one out. Somehow it's all as we were going into turn 14. Somehow everyone's made it through. Meanwhile, Shane Boland's got in front of Moomin Rider, Janaudi and Krytek for P6. So he's taking his stint at the front there. Edveer not quite able to fully get rid of Autron behind. Smalley's coming back to those 2 in fact in the battle for P11. Cam Mackenzie's still 2.7 off that train. as Welsh Sponge back down the third DRS straight, I should say, in toward turn 11. Meanwhile, down the straight toward turn 14 we go. Welsh Sponge looking to try and hold on to his lead. We've yet to see a leader hold on to the lead for a full lap here. There we go, just completed that milestone now. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge having beaten coming in behind. You can see just how powerful the DRS is. Gaining. They were right at the end of the straight, and now up through 2 and 3. Beaton is very close to the back of the Mercedes. A little bit of a wobble there on the apex of 3 on the run up toward turn 4. That might cost him. Indeed it does. No position gain there. Shane Boland holds off those behind for P6. Cinders has now been caught by Edveer and Ortron, but will comfortably hold on to P10 for the moment as the leaders make their way downhill towards 5, 6, 7 and 8. The two battles separated by currently 4 seconds. That just gives you so even though the top 5 are fighting, they're still pulling out a couple of tenths a lap on those behind, a few tenths a lap on those behind, and that is what 3.5 seconds looks like. As up the hill they come once more. Welsh Sponge beaten, Phoenix Grey, JK Adams the top 5, Shane Boland, Movement Rider, Janaldi, Krytek, Cinders make up the top 10, and it has to be said, Phoenix Grey's dropped off a little bit from the leading duo, not quite seemingly having the mid to late stint pace of those around him. Meanwhile, Beaton makes a move for the lead. Edveer's got in front of Ortron. Shane Boland is headed to the pits. That gives us a clue as to how quickly those soft compound tyres degrade. Where will he come out? That will be an interesting question, as Edveer gets in front of Cinders for P9. That is now. Shane Boland wants another set of soft compound tyres, and away he goes. Are we going to see a soft medium strategy there for the Haas team? As Shane gets back up to racing speed. Yellow flag sector 2. That is for the Alpine of Daddy Cool. Edveer and Ortron still going at it into 5, 6 and 7. Cinders able to hold off Edveer. It was at the end of that battle then, while we were following Shane Boland. Ortron holds P11 behind Edveer and Cinders. As we see Beaton lead us up the hill toward turn 12. The gap at the gap between the top 5 definitely just condensed a little bit in the last lap. Moomin Rider trying to run away from Krytek and Janaldi, but still inside a second. Those guys remain behind him. Daddy Cool retires from the session. That's such a shame. Had a fantastic quali run, made it up to quali 3, but calls it a quit inside the first 10 laps. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge, with the help of DRS, gets past the Red Bull for the lead of the Grand Prix, and then locks up, goes deep into turn 1. That's allowed Beaton back through, and this might now allow Phoenix Grey to have a look. In the background there was Moomin Rider and Krytek having a fantastic scrap by the looks of it for P6, and it's the McLaren that leads the way at that one for the moment. But Krytek back up the inside of turn 4, just about gets it stopped. He retakes P6. What was that? That was a spun out Moomin Rider. We cut to it, the helicopter shot, and he spins out at the inside of turn 4, and the overheated tyres catch him out again at the exit of 6, entry of 7, and that's going to drop him down behind Cam McKenzie. Back to P13 goes Moomin Rider. Meanwhile, Edveer and Smalley are having an issue. I think Edveer had an issue coming out of turn 3, because Ortron and Cinders were the two he was fighting, and they are 2.5 seconds up the road. Krytek, Janaldi, that battle's still going on for P6. Meanwhile, The battle for the lead, 5-car battle for the lead, as always. Looking spicy, and it's Welsh Sponge again looking for an early move into turn 14 on a Red Bull car. Danny Cool leaving the session now a lap after he retires. Beaton takes us on to lap 10 of 29. We're already over a third of the way through the Grand Prix as Welsh Sponge retakes the lead of the Grand Prix. JK trying to have a look at Phoenix Grey, a little bit behind. All 5 of them make it through cleanly. The first corner, Ginaudi and Krytek. Ginaudi up the inside, up to P6. Edvir Smalley into the box. Cinders has got in front of Ortron. Shane Boland set to purple lap on those new soft compound tyres, 130.9, as he looks to undercut everyone in front of him and around him who he was racing. Cam McKenzie into the points for the first time today, as those around him have all made a pit stop. Moonman Rider into the pits as well for a new set of, I can't have a look, but Smalley's on a set of hards. Edvir is also on a set of hards. Moonman Rider has spun out coming out of the pit lane, gets it back underway, but all of a sudden it was looking quite peachy for the McLaren. He's down to last on a set of hard compound tyres as well, and front wing damage for good measure. Meanwhile, the top 5 into turn 13 once more. Need to be careful, need to pull the trigger at the right time, and of course the 2 Red Bulls being in that battle, they can't stack each other unless there is a breakaway group. As now Welsh Sponge going to have Beaton to deal with once more. Beaton in that fluoro green helmet pulls to the outside line with DRS, should get through very easily. Ultron's got in front of Cinders, Dutchy's got in front of Taz Manager, Krytek's got in front of Ginaudi as he heads to the pits. And Phoenix Grey went deep there into turn 1. Adams has got in front of JK, and we cut to it in the end. And Adams spins out on the exit of 2, going into 3, pointing back the right direction once more. But those medium tyres on the McLaren are cooked and covered in dust for good measure. Not a great middle stint to the race here for the McLaren team. 2 spins in 3 laps as Krytek now up to P5. So the battle, the 5-car battle for the lead is now down to a battle of 4. And interesting there, we've just seen it. That's a very interesting little bit of communication between Beaton, Welsh Sponge, Phoenix Grey and JK. That a little bit of weaving, not much, but a little bit of, look, I want to stay in front for the moment, or I want you to overtake me. Very 1980s, very old school, where you could just put your hand out the cockpit and kind of wave someone through. As into the pits now comes Beaton and Welsh Sponge. So Phoenix Grey takes the lead. JK up to P2. Beaton, Welsh Sponge. Red Bull versus Mercedes. It's a battle of the pit crews, and it's a set of mediums for Beaton, a set of hards for Welsh Sponge. So 2 stop in 1 camp. Shane Boland, 3-second time penalty, first one of the day, as he inherits a few more positions as Adams into the pits for a set of hards. And away he goes. Cam McKenzie into the box as well, also wants a set of hards. That could be a... So it's interesting, those onto the hards I presume are 1-stop strategies. Those onto anything that isn't could be a 2-stopper. Ginaudi, set of hards as he gets away, P9. Smalley versus Edvir, both on a set of hards. Cam McKenzie back out in P13. Meanwhile, the duel now for the lead, Phoenix Grey versus JK. Of course, where will these two come out in relation to Beaton and Welsh Sponge? In reference, so just so as you all know, Adams lost about 12 seconds with the contact he made last time around. That is the penalty that he will have to hopefully try and overturn to rejoin the fight for the podium. Both cars now, Phoenix Grey and JK, head to pit lane. And we will once more see the battle of the pit crews, the battle of minds. Phoenix Grey, set of hards. He will one stop then. JK wants a set of hards, and away he goes. Crytek into the pits as well. So Ortron momentarily will not be leading as Cinders takes the lead down the front straightaway. Beaton though, sitting behind Shane Bolan, needs to get past here. Shane Bolan has undercut the leaders that massively. Wowee, that's the power of soft compound tyres. Shane Bolan though gets out of the way there of Beaton, it has to be said. Beaton needs to be aggressive here on a second set of medium tyres. Needs to be aggressive, needs to go hunting, and needs to break clear of everyone else. Try and build up enough time so that the soft compound tyres he puts on to end the race are as effective as possible. Shane Bolan doing Beaton a job here by holding Welsh Sponge up a little bit, but Beaton's getting caught up in the battle between Ortron and Cinders. That is a fantastic battle, and there you see Shane Bolan up the inside at turn 10. 5-car battle for the lead is on once more, and here come Phoenix Grey and JK on the run down toward turn 11 we go. Sponge has a look at Shane, but no move coming there. Meanwhile, Beaton with the better drive on the new medium tyres gets Cinders on the run up the hill toward 12. Now he's just got to pick his spot against Ortron hit and hope that the 3 that he's just cleared holds up his opponent of Welsh Sponge. Meanwhile, JK still comfortably attached to the back of Phoenix Grey. Shane Bolan's got Cinders, so too has Sponge. Cinders as he heads to the pit. Beaton now with the DRS will be overtaking Ortron here, and so too by the looks of it will Shane Bolan. In fact, Shane might be trying to have them both here up the inside, 3 abreast into turn 1. Shane Bolan later on the brakes got the move at the apex, but Beaton with the better drive, the better racing line, reclaims the lead, and now on the run up the hill, Welsh Sponge and Ortron right there. They're side by side. Shane Bolan up the inside. He wants to lead for a little bit in the Haas, but goes too deep into turn 4. That allows Beaton to come back through, and Shane Bolan has to settle for second for the moment. Meanwhile, JK got in front of Phoenix Grey behind, and they're now just in second behind. Shane Bolan and Welsh Sponge are carrying on their battle on the run through turn 8, on the run up toward turns 9 and 10. Up the inside goes Welsh Sponge into the hairpin. But now what can they all do? Try and stop Beaton from running away with it. JK into the battle, so too is Phoenix Grey, so we're back to a 6-car battle for the lead. Adams meanwhile is tucked up behind Yanaudi, hoping to get through sooner rather than later. Cam McKenzie still 2.7 off the back of Smalley, who is battling Edvir for the last of the points paying positions as it stands. Ortron of course is yet to make a stop yet, and we know that Beaton and Shane Bolan have to make at least one more, and Shane Bolan might only have another 2 or 3 laps in those soft compound tyres as JK gets in front of Ortron. Beaton is going to be overtaken by Welsh Sponge. Through 2 comes Phoenix Grey, looking up the inside of Ortron, but he was too far back on this occasion as the leaders make their way through turns 1 and 2. Adams with the help of DRS gets past Yanaudi. Smalley has dropped outside a second of Edvir, it looks like. That allows Cam McKenzie to continue his march forward. Phoenix Grey gets past Ortron on the run up toward turn 4. He's up to P5. Ortron back to P6. Probably will be looking for another 5 laps, but to comfortably make the switch onto medium tyres. Maybe only 3 laps for that pit stop. And how many laps left does Shane Bolan's soft compound tyres have? And why will it? And what tyre will he go onto? Surely a set of mediums will get him to the end from here. With lower fuel. Meanwhile, JK has got in front of Shane Bolan on the run out of 13. But they've lost time to the leaders, have these two, JK and Phoenix Grey. Sponge and Beaton been able to break free by a second and a half. Phoenix Grey, though, going to line up the Haas car and maybe even get the Aston Martin here, because the Haas is definitely going. We know how aggressive Shane Bolan is. He gets JK. Phoenix Grey goes up the inside, goes into the back a little bit there of Shane Bolan, and has to settle for P5, but the slightly different line might give him an advantage. Meanwhile, JK going to have to go the long way round on Shane Bolan up toward turn 4. Shane Bolan is loving this racing, and I'm absolutely loving it for him. And now on the run down to turns 6 and 7, Autron picks up a 3-second time penalty, his first of the day, and he's sticking with this battle all the way. Shane Bolan covers the inside line into turn 8. JK has a look around the outside. That gave Phoenix Grey half an opportunity, but there's nothing coming there as they run into 9, 10, 11. And look at Phoenix Grey steaming in there, most likely either locking up or missing his braking zone. Thankfully not going into the back of the two in front, and the race carries on. Edveer, Cam Mackenzie, Smalley are all now battling for P10 as Cam Mackenzie tries to get past Smalley for P11, who has to go around the outside. This would be like Fernando Alonso and Hamilton. Can't quite get the move done, and sits behind 12 in 12th for the moment, but with the DRS and the better drive, he gets past Smalley there for 11th. Movement rider into the pits. Welsh Sponge Beaton lead the way. Sparks coming off the back of the Red Bull there. Beaton with DRS might be closing that gap. Shane Bolan now dives to pit lane, and that releases JK and Phoenix Grey into positions 3 and 4 respectively. Autron still carrying on. Will he want to go for a set of softs instead? Will he have the last 5 laps he needs to try and make up for starting on the hard compound tyres? Shane Bolan, where does he come out in relation to everyone he's been racing? Smalley, Edveer and Cam Mackenzie all go through. Cam Mackenzie goes up the inside into turn 1, finally making the progress he'd have wanted, as he's up to P9 now, 4 seconds off the back of Crytek. Meanwhile, what else is going on track? Beaton and Welsh Sponge still very close to each other as they go in toward turn 11. And 12. Adams Unaldi, that battle's still going on, the battle for P6. Crytek there, a further 5 seconds back. Very solid race there from the RB car. Cam Mackenzie up from P17 as a reminder, up to P9. And already just 3.5 seconds behind Crytek. Meanwhile, onto the main straight we go. I reckon there'll be a move for the lead and a move for P3 here, as down the straight we go. Beaton gaining. Not going for the move though. Phoenix Grey. JK though gaining, and again no move being made, so my prediction was wrong. However, Adams and Unaldi, nope, nothing going there either, so reasonably quiet lap this time around on the front straight as Shane Bolan looks to settle in those younger hard compound tyres. This is the tyre advantage he has. 7 laps to Edveer and Smalley, 5 to Cam Mackenzie, 4 to Crytek, and 3 to Cinders behind. But he does have that penalty to serve. That is a definitely a factor. That is Edveer, who spun out at the top of the hill, going into, what's that, the exit of turn 4 into 5 he goes now. Gets out of the way and gets Cinders past, but Edveer was up there in P9-10, down to 13th he goes. And Shane Bolan now inside DRS range of Smalley. Surely this is just going to be team orders there at Haas, and there it is. Small again comfortably off the racing line. Shane Bolan gets through. No, quite. Shane Bolan does now get through. Back up to P10. 4.5 seconds behind Cam Mackenzie, who's 3 seconds off the back of Crytek. Unaldi, Adams, that battle goes on. Phoenix Grey, JK, that battle goes on. Beaton, how much life left do those medium tyres have? He's been on them for what, 10 laps now? 7 laps he's only been on them, so another 3 or 4 laps in them before he wants to make a pit stop onto the softs to get him through to the end. Meanwhile, Shane Boland trying to close down Cam Mackenzie for any extra points in front. The racing going on here. Welsh Sponge holding off Beaton now. Beaton not looking overly aggressive. I wonder if whether Beaton tries to force a bit of a battle just to try and allow Phoenix Gray and JK to close the gap, because Beaton is not in this is not in the battle for the win, is not in the battle for a podium. By going medium has to make one more pit stop, and that will drop him. Well, he'll want to come out behind Cam Mackenzie, but in front of the 2 Haas cars, as Shane Boland makes his way toward turn 11. As in now to the pits comes Beaton, so that theory of does he go for a try and battle with Welsh Sponge to help close the gap. JK gets in front of Phoenix Gray. Beaton onto a set of softs. No surprises there. Phoenix Gray on the run out of 2 and 3 gets back in front of JK. Crytek, where is Beaton? There is Beaton. Here comes Crytek and Cam Mackenzie. Through goes Crytek. Cam Mackenzie is gaining, does not gain enough. So Beaton back out then in P8. The overcut worked in relation to Shane Boland. And he's now on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. So this could be a rather explosive end to the race for the Red Bull car, who goes a little bit into the back of Crytek, forces Crytek deep on exit, and Beaton already makes his first overtake on the set of softs. Adams is gaining time on Autron. Autron's still yet to make a pit stop, so one more pit stop, one more stopper left in the entire pack. Phoenix Gray 3.4 off Welsh Sponge. Will want to try and close that gap down if he can with JK. Cam Mackenzie now 1.1 off the back of Crytek. Shane Boland 5.1 behind Cam. Meanwhile, Edvir's caught back up to the back of Cinders. This could be an interesting battle here for P12. Meanwhile, JK not going for the move onto Phoenix Gray in P1. Autron now into the pits, so Adams and Ginaldi get through for P4 and 5 respectively. Where is Autron going to come out? I reckon it could be... It actually could be around this fight, this Cinders and Edvir fight. Autron onto a set of softs. Through comes the first of the 2 Haas cars. There's the second. Cam Mackenzie's got in front of Crytek. Crytek fights it back on the run out of turns 2 and 3. Autron, Edvir and Cinders, I called that one right. All 3 of them side by side as they head in toward turn 1. Of course, Autron on those brand new soft compound tyres will be looking to clear these 2 very quickly and maybe chase down one of the Haas cars for the points. Cam Mackenzie did finish the move on Crytek. He's back up into P7. Beaten 4.5 seconds off the back of Ginaldi and Adams. Can he get P4 at all? Autron's got Cinders already. I say that and they're still wheel to wheel. Autron up the inside at turn 8. Gets the move done, surely with the better traction. That is put to bed. Yes, it is. He's back up now to P12. And opens up the DRS to try and set up his next target. Edvir has to go the long way round at turn 11. Those soft compound tyres though make it look so easy. Autron up to P11 now. 4.6 off the back, off the Haas cars in front. Can he chase down and weasel a point from this race? Crytek, Cam Mackenzie, those 2 are still very close to each other. Beaton set to purple lap, no surprises there. 129.7, 3.4 off the back of Ginaldi already. That is the supreme speed of those new soft compound tyres. JK still comfortably in challenging Phoenix Gray, who's taken a few tenths out. And JK gets a loose out of turn 7 there. at the top of the hill. That releases Phoenix Grey, who's putting the afterburners on, trying to catch Welsh Sponge a little bit. Meanwhile, Ginaudi beaten Krytek. Edfear is carrying on with the battle of Ortron, Cinders and Edfear. There it is, the battle for P11, and already these guys 3 seconds now behind Smalley, looking to try and march up the field. Ginaudi couple of tenths of a second behind Adams, deep on the brakes into turn 13, locks up. No worries though, still inside that 1 second window, but here is the danger approaching. I can hear the Jaws theme underneath those two all the while at the moment, because here comes Beaton now, 1.7 behind these two. Give it another lap and he'll be right on the rear diffusers. JK 1.5 off the back of Phoenix Grey, just needs a good little sequence. Ginaudi gets in front of Adams. Sorry, JK needs a good little sequence here to get in back inside the 1 second window of JK. Ortron has put the afterburners on and has got rid of Smalley. Smalley, who's gone to the pits for the Haas car. Edfear and Cinders battle on, and Cinders with DRS makes that look very easy indeed. Shane Boland, 3 second time penalty, his second of the day, I believe. Indeed it is. There's the penalty count. 6 for Shane, 3 for Ortron, 3 for Edfear, none for anyone else. As there are the gaps. Phoenix Grey 2.7 now off the back of Welsh Sponge, gaining a little bit of time but not enough to really kind of mount any kind of meaningful challenge. JK 1.4 off the back. There I said that Beaton was going to arrive very quickly on the scene too. The battle now for P4, and he's got the set of soft compound tyres, he's got the confidence and the skill, does Beaton. Up and over the crest on the run down toward turn 14. On the brakes they go. Ginaudi leads them onto the pit straight. Adams already lines up that move, and here comes Beaton up the inside, 3 wide. And there we go. Adams net gain of absolutely nothing. Beaton gets it stopped on the brakes into turn 1. Beaton back up to P4. Adams holds P5. Ginaudi relegated to 6th. Cam McKenzie unable to fully ditch Krytek, but Shane Boland now 1.8 behind, looking to try and improve on his points haul for Haas. Edfear and Cinders battling on still into turn 1 they go. Edfear holds on to P11. Ortron 4.4 behind Shane Boland, 5 seconds clear of those behind, however. Cinders, Edfear into turn 4. Edfear deep at the apex. That allows Cinders to go for the old switcheroo. Now side by side through 5, 6 and 7. Cinders going to have to dance around the outside here. Just about gets enough space. Goes up the inside at turn 8. Can't quite complete the move on exit, and now it's going to be the run toward turns 9 and 10. Cinders backs out of it. Looks up the inside at turn 10, just like we saw Alonso do to Hamilton. However, on this occasion, Cinders aided by the lockup of Edfear to get that move done and dusted. Adams and Ginaudi stayed with Beaton on this lap, and so can they try and fight back the Red Bull? Can they try and reclaim P4, considering that those soft compound tyres will be beginning to get a little bit worn? Adams there with a little bit of rear locking up into turn 1, catches the slide, but definitely a tank slapper going on there. Meanwhile, Phoenix Grey 2.4, 2.5 now off Welsh Sponge, closing the gap, as I say, but not really enough. JK dropping away a little bit. He could be very happy there with P7, with P3 I should say, considering where he started. Cinders, Edfear carrying on the battle for P11. Into turn 1 they go. Cinders holds the position. Shane Boland now 1.5 seconds off the back of Krytek and Cam McKenzie. Ortron a further 3 up the road. Needs to be careful here, does Shane. Does have an extra 3 seconds of penalties to Ortron behind, and of course 6 seconds to everyone else. So Shane needs to do a little bit of hard racing here if he can, to make use of those much younger hard compound tyres. Meanwhile, Adams and Gianaldi have fallen away from Beaton and each other a little bit, so that particular battle looks like it's fizzled out. Phoenix Grey 2.2 now off the back of Welsh Sponge. 3 laps to go after this one. Meanwhile, Cam Mackenzie, Crytek, the closest battle really on track at the moment, excluding Cinders and Edvir as they round turn 14 and the little jink at 15. Crytek now can sit behind, open up the DRS, and just needs to pick his direction. The answer is he'll go to the inside line as we look at it. Crytek back up the inside, gets it stopped on the brakes. Cam Mackenzie double fronts lock up a bit. Crytek back up to P7, although now Cam Mackenzie has the run of DRS at the top of the hill out of turn 3. Now just he needs to pick his move. He goes up the inside at turn 4. Cam Mackenzie late on the brakes, locks up a little bit, forces them both a little bit wide. Good clean racing between the two. Cam Mackenzie holds on to P7, and here comes Shane Boland, 1.1. Now 1 second behind those two. Ortron a further 1.6 up the road. Edvir Cinders still carrying on. Edvir just about holding on to P11 at the moment. Meanwhile, up at front, 2.3 the gap. Phoenix Grey not really doing enough to have a look in, as the leaders round turn 15 take us on to 27, 3 to go, including this one now. Meanwhile, the battle behind Crytek, Cam Mackenzie, Shane Boland, Ortron. We had started the race with a 5-car battle, a 4-car battle and a 3-car battle across the top positions. We're going to end the race currently with a 4-car battle for P7 and a 2-car duel for P11 as they round now turns 14 and 15. Crytek leads the chain. Everyone behind though will have DRS. Yellow flag sector 2, that is for the Williams of the Duchy, I do believe. Cam Mackenzie, with the help of DRS, gets back up into P7, and now what can Shane Boland do, the aggressive Haas driver, as Cinders gets in front of Edvir at the top of the hill. Up toward turn 4 we come. Crytek not looking to try and make a move back on Cam Mackenzie, but Cam there locking up a little bit into turn 4. With the Duchy's error, yellow flag in sector 2, that's brought Moomin Rider back into play. The battle to not be last is just as important as the battle to be first. For the drivers, it is all about pride. Shane Boland, Ortron, Crytek, Cam Mackenzie, 4 cars separated by a second and a half as they head down toward turn 11. The leaders have started their penultimate lap. They've got one more tour of the Secure International Circuit to go. Shane Boland and Ortron swapping positions. Ortron up the inside at turn 13. Rare you see an overtake get done there. Fantastic opportunistic move by the Ferrari car. He now is clear to engage the two in front. I say that as Shane Boland tries to have one more look at the back of the inside. A yellow flag in sector 1. It is not for Adams. It is for Moomin Rider. I wonder if he tried to have a look, an overly aggressive look at the Duchy for P15. Meanwhile, Crytek up the inside of Cam Mackenzie. Shane Boland tries to go up the inside of them all, can't quite get it done, and loses out all of the places instead. And now Crytek holds 7th, Cam Mackenzie holds 8th, Ortron holds 9th, Shane Boland is in 10th. Cinders and Edvir once more into turn 1. Cinders around the outside gets to P11. Meanwhile, the leaders have just 4 sectors of this racetrack to go. Phoenix Grey has got the gap now under 2 seconds and is definitely gaining time, but just left it too little too late this last push at the end. Beaten, that alternate strategy not fully working out as well as he'd have liked. Could have been battling away for the race win, will be coming home. A very well finished P4. Made some good overtakes when it mattered on this strategy, but not what he'd have wanted considering where he was with 10 laps to go. Ortron, Cam McKenzie going at it once. Going at it, Ortron was looking for a second move up the inside into turn 13. Might have had a half spin there, so that drops him back down to P10. And so we will have one more 4-car battle in toward turn 1 as we go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. Crytek leads the 4 of them in P7. All of them have DRS. Who has battery? Who has the sheer aggressive instinct? Cam McKenzie looking up the inside in toward turn 1 on the brakes, gets it done. That forces Crytek a little wide, and that for a moment allowed Shane Boland a half look at P8, but couldn't quite find the space to get the move done. And now on the run up to the top of the hill, no moves being done there. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That is for Ginaudi having an issue out of turn 7, but gets back underway. Meanwhile, Cinders versus Edvir go into turn 4. Cinders holds on to P11. Are we going to see any more last minute overtakes into turns 9, 10 and 11? The last real overtaking opportunities with DRS. How old are Cam McKenzie's tyres? They're squealing out of every corner. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge crosses the line to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. Phoenix Grey comes home a well-deserved P2. JK with a very handy P3 for Aston Martin. Beaton gives away 8 points in the championship standings to his teammate. Adams will come home P5. Ginaudi comes home P6, but the battle behind Cam McKenzie has got in P7. Shane Boland holds on to P8. Crytek has lost a position here to P9. It's not done until you hit the checkered flag though, folks. Cam McKenzie, Shane Boland, Crytek, Ortron. Ortron will take P9 in front of Shane Boland with the penalty counts. Cinders holds off for P11. Edvir will come home P13 on his penalty count, so Smalley will take P12. And then it's just the 2 Williams cars. Taz Manager and the Dutchie have had a very quiet race. I've not mentioned them at all. But there they are. Taz Manager around 14. To take away P14. And the Dutchie could be kicking himself. What could have been? Considering the qualifying. But there we are, folks. That brings an end to the racing today. Just as good timing as my voice, as I have a massive coughing fit and my voice just wants to give up a bit. Thank you so much. Can I just say very quickly, I've just seen F1 Alex TTV is in the chat, and as far as I'm aware, Alex, you are a... Am I right in thinking you're a... Say hello. I saw your name pop up. I was like, I recognise your name. So yeah, wow, I've got a Creator Series driver in my Twitch chat. That's something I never thought I'd say. Meanwhile, there is the final classification standings. Welsh Sponge wins the day from 2 seconds to Phoenix Grey. JK up from 7th to take a podium. Very well deserved. Cam McKenzie last to 7th challenge. Very well completed, sir. Shane Boland, Ortron, Crytek, Cam McKenzie, Ginaudi, Adams, Beaton, JK, Phoenix Grey, Welsh Sponge, your point scorers in reverse order, 10th to 1st. We had one DNF, and that was Daddy Cool, retiring on lap 9. Folks, I've been Sharp. This has been an absolute pleasure to commentate. It's been such a great race. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I have. My award for Driver of the Day, with some fantastically aggressive racing, great overtakes, great fighting, A funky strategy that very nearly worked out for him. Shane Bolan in the Haas is my driver of the day, but I have to mention Welsh Sponge, incredibly controlled race. Phoenix Gray and JK as well, putting some good action together through the middle third of the race. Folks, I've been Sharp. As I said, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope to see you all again very, very soon. But for now, it's good night and goodbye.
Oh my God, Krytek! Just admires the balls there. Krytek gave his throw his teammate of MSC F1 Series wants that tactical. Can Ali come back and well fun? The McLaren is through on the house and up to P7.
Nathan, in the name of the MSC community, thank you.